All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, let's give a big round of applause to Cheryl Wolk and the kitchen staff for the fantastic meal. For what it's worth, Coach Abishon said it was the best coleslaw he's ever had, and he's old, so that's good. No offense. Also, I want to thank our sports boosters. These are the people that are behind the scenes. They're the ones who sponsor these banquets that we have, all 4 athletic banquets that we have throughout the school year. They're also the ones who volunteer all their time, going to the meetings, working in the concession stands, raising the money to pay for a lot of the equipment and things like that for our student athletes. So if we could give them a big round of applause and a thank you. Okay, and now introduction of our coaches. I'll start to my left here and make our way to the right. First, we've got our Emeralds coach, Coach Schwint. She's first-year Emeralds coach. To her right is one of our first-year freshman coaches, and that is Coach Cody Schwint. And I can't leave out at the end there Mr. Mercer, our assistant principal. The ugly guy to my right is the head football coach, Bob Stolzer. A lot of people went. To his right is assistant and offensive coordinator, Bob Weiler. The behemoth to his right is one of our JV coaches, Jared Bonnell. The fellow bearded guy to his right is another one of our JV coaches, that is Adam Sherry. And the man that we affectionately call Score is another one of our freshman coaches, and that is Steve Abishon. Okay, I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking other than that tonight. I'm going to let coaches do most of the talking. Basically what we'll do first, we'll start with our freshman coaches, and Coach Schwint is going to do the talking tonight for the freshman coaches. When they're finished, Coach Sherry is going to do the talking for the JV, and then after that, Coach Weiler and Stolzer will do the varsity, and then I'll talk again before we hand it over to the Emeralds. So without any further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Coach Schwint. Come on up, Coach.
How you doing? Right off the bat, we're just going to call up the boys. So when I call your name, come up, line up in front of you. The coach is up here, and then I'm going to talk about our season a little bit. So right off the bat, Coach Abishon will give you guys your certificate. Our managers, Kelsey Schmidt, Morgan Papin, Bryce Bonnert, Austin Brewer, Kyle Brown, Joey Cage, Dalton Campbell, Bradley Chambers, Wade Dickens, Wes Dickens, Logan Dowdy, Logan Fleeman, AJ Gons, Wyatt Hahn, Gabe Harmon, Zach Herzog, Leland Hook, Cade Jett, Hunter Johnson. Logan Kemper. Tyler Klein. Ryan Laws. Clayton Levy. Nate McClin. Zach Rhodes. Skylar Ring. Gavin Roderick. Anthony Rowe. You don't get a certificate. You weren't good enough. Morgan Shank. Austin Schwint. Logan Seibel. Kobe Squires. And Sam Tarana. All right, first off, Coach and I would like to thank a few people. We'd like to thank Coach Nix for providing a film stand for us this year, and Coach Thompson for building it. We'd also like to thank the managers and also Mrs. Aubuchon for filming for us, and any substitute filmers who helped us out along the way. It really helped us in our preparation and helped us figure out the errors we made so we could correct them. I'd also like to thank you parents for always having the boys on time, even if it was a Sunday practice or an early summer workout when it's hard to find rides. It's really helpful for us coaches whenever they're early and on time so we can get going. Come on, caveman. We really appreciate it. I hope these boys see how much their families care about them, because we had a game in St. Francis Borgia, and I think we only had like 6 players ride the bus home with us, and that's out of 31 or 32 kids, so that's pretty impressive. It really shows how much the parents wanted to be there for their kids and help the program out. All right, now that the thank yous are done, we'll talk some football. We ended the season with a 7-1 record, beating some pretty difficult schools. Our only loss came in the first game against Valley. Some of the kids on the team, it was their very first football game ever. I think a lot of us want to replay that one, but that'll be a good one. I thought we learned a lot, and I'm sure they'll hold a grudge for the years to come to make up for that one. Just so you have an idea of the games we won after that, we start off with Coach Aubuchon's former Valley, which was Farmington. Then we beat Hillsborough, Potosi, Park Hills Central, St. Francis Borgia, Westminster, and DeSoto after that. So if you're counting, that was 5 4A schools. So week in, week out, we preached not to make so many mental errors, and these guys really came through, with the exception of Campbell, who tried to pull a Muhammad Ali on some guy. At the beginning of the year, we were a little unsure what we had based on how the team did last year. They went 3-2 as 8th graders. As Coach and I formed our own judgment on the team, we looked at how much progress these guys were making, and we knew we were a lot better than their previous record showed, and probably a lot better than what they even thought they were. They lived up to what we saw and asked of them, and Coach and I are very proud of what they accomplished. They believe in the things we taught them, and I've heard from several people and coaches already how many of them are good lifters and how excited they are to be in the weight room, which is awesome looking forward. If this group keeps working like they have the past 6 months, they have the ability to do a lot of special things in the future. I know I said I was done with the thank yous, but I also wanted to give my own special thanks to you guys for spoiling me my very first year. It's going to make me work real hard to try to live up to the 7-1 standard you guys made. So that's it. Good job, guys.
you guys hear okay in the back? Do I need it? If I need to turn the volume up, raise your hand. Well, you wouldn't know that, would you? Hopefully you can hear back there. Before Coach Sherry comes up, I wanted to point something out to you guys, and part of this you can see it on the banquet program tonight, and part of it you can't. You know, our winning tradition continued this year with the records of 10-2, 6-1, and 7-1. You know, over the years, the coaches have worked really hard to build our program to be successful, and that's exactly what we were this year. But it was interesting as I was looking at last week's banquet with volleyball and softball, and you can't really tell from cross country, but when you looked at the records of every fall team that we had this year at every level, JV, freshman, varsity, every single one of our high school teams had winning records this year. And I don't know how often that happens, but I know it doesn't happen very often. So it was a great fall season, and football is not the exception. They did very well this year and continued on with their winning tradition. And I will turn it over to Coach Sherry now. You're up.
6-1, huh, Coach Nix? Thought it was 7-1, man. Wasn't our fault that DeSoto forfeited. So we're going to take that win and be 7-1, Coach Nix. Coach Nix likes to rub it in because he thinks he's not sure that he had an undefeated season, and this is my 4th year coaching JV, and we've had 3 one-loss seasons. Real funny. I'm going to introduce the players first, and then I will not talk nearly as long as Coach Wynn. So, walk up here quickly. Antonio Davis. If you don't walk quickly, Coach Parnell is going to put you in some awesome wrestling hold and like body slam you. Wyatt Fleeg. Jacob Kemper. Joe Allen. Luke Gettinger. Brandon LaRose. Tate Meyer. Drew Smelsley. Oh, way to get up front, Smelsley. Injured guy. Always thinking. Injured guy. Glad you're not in the back. Jacob Cole. Blake Meyer. Elizabeth Brown. Ashlyn Wilson. Andrew DeRoos. Antonio. Scoot that way. Attaboy. Tayon Fleeg. You can stand in front of me, Blake, that's fine. Ryan Kemper. Michael Collier. Ethan Vaith. Doug Scoop and almost score Bosler. Oh yeah, maybe you can make it all the way up, Bosler. Jacob Hersher. Chase Lindsay. David Ringwald. Can't think of his nickname. I know he's got one. Can't remember it. Owen Roth. Tim Schweigert. Harrison Womack. Kevin Worley. Jesse DeRoos. That's the squad. Good-looking group, I know. Again, the record of the team was 7-1, not 6-1. 7-1. We outscored our opponents roughly by an average of 25-7 per contest. We were undefeated against Class 1 schools. Really an excellent group of kids. A lot of fun, very enjoyable to be around, which is a testament to you as their parents. Always professional. Kind of got it to slow starts at times, but usually finish strong. They've got a lot of potential, but like everyone else in this room, they got to put in the work to realize that potential. It's there, but they need some pushing from each other and from you all to get in the weight room, and we can get better. Lastly, one final point. Program 24-4 from grades 9 through 12. Probably not many programs in the state that can say they were 24-4. Best thing about those 4 losses, unfortunately for the seniors, they can't do this. Those 4 losses, you guys all get to play those 3 teams next year. It's up to you to do something to make sure they don't happen again. All right? Excellent job. Congratulations to all of you guys on a fine season.
I'm supposed to mention that the freshmen averaged 40 points a game. I guess it's a competition now, I guess. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to the varsity coaches, Coach Weiler and Coach Stolzer, and I'm thinking that Coach Weiler, by his body language, is going first.
For the record, the varsity did beat Valley, so. Okay, I have 17 athletes to speak on behalf of, and would you please come up and hold your applause till we're finished. Anthony Rowe, running back, linebacker. Anthony started playing with the varsity after his freshman season was over. As a linebacker, he recorded 23 tackles, 4 assists, while only playing 3 or 4 games. He was on specialty teams as well, and I know one game he had 3 tackles just on specialty teams. So offensively, Anthony was kind of pushed into a starting position our last game of the year. We had him for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to learn our offense, which is a little bit different than the freshman team, and he did a good job with what we wanted to do. Our timing, our injuries really set us back. As if you follow the varsity, you know what I'm talking about. Anthony's work ethic in the weight room is outstanding. We look forward to seeing Anthony progress over the next 3 years. Lucas Stiegel, also linebacker, running back. Lucas was a force on the JV team this past season as they only lost 1 game. He did see some action on specialty teams. At varsity level, he had 7 tackles, 1 assist, and will be a big contributor next fall. Cousin George, our only recruit from LSU area. Very good inside linebacker, and he played tight end in our double tight end set. Defensively, he was in on 20 tackles and had 5 assists from linebacker. Will be a front runner and starter, hopefully inside linebacker next season. Clayton Agger, kicker personality, coming up here. Clayton had 4 tackles, 2 assists as a D-back, and on offense, he did catch 6 passes for 99 yards. I think quite a few of those were against Potosi. His biggest contribution was his accuracy as a kicker. He was 49 of 52 on extra points and made his only field goal attempt. He should have a great chance of not only being all-conference, which he was, but all-region, and possibly, hopefully he'll make some on all-state level too. He was chosen first-team kicker on the all-conference team. Logan Geck, the first member that I will speak on behalf of that injured himself after probably 2 or 3 games. Junior performed really well as a defensive end before tearing his ACL. He would have been one of our tight ends and would have been a good target for Matt to throw to. Before the injury, he was in on 4 tackles, 2 assists, 2 of those tackles being behind the line tackles. A healthy Logan next season will be a real lift for the Dragons, both offensively and defensively. We feel Logan would have been an all-conference performer had the injury not happened. Matt Jury. Matt played some D-back early in the year, actually started there last year. Because he's our main contributor as a quarterback, we wanted to make sure he didn't get hurt. He completed 59% of his passes for 1,466 yards, 18 TDs, and 6 interceptions. He also ran 145 times for 537 yards, a 3.7 average, and ran for 8 TDs. Matt was awarded first-team all-conference quarterback, and we look forward to Matt having a great season next 2013 squad. Brendan Dallas. After Daniel Lurk got hurt, Brendan was inserted as a running back. Brendan played linebacker as well, and again, he was a leading rusher as a running back. He ran over 1,000 yards, 1,060 to be exact, 174 carries, 6.1 yard average, 17 rushing TDs. I think the biggest asset that Brendan has besides heart is his strong, muscular build, his legs. He squats. One of our main squatters on the team. He works really, really hard, and you can see it on the team when he's carrying 3 or 4 players and breaking tackles and such. He had 10 catches for 99 yards as a receiver and was awarded first-team running back, honorable mention linebacker. Adam Swint. Adam also injured his ACL early in the season, and as a result, took a major threat away from our offense. Our best cover man on defense as well. He was all-state wide receiver as a junior with over 1,500 yards. As a result, Adam was still awarded on the all-conference list this year as a second-team wide receiver. Adam finished this abbreviated season with 14 catches, 163 yards, and 4 TDs. He was one of our 4 captains. Lucas Palmer. Luke was our main kickoff man for most part of the season and did a great job kicking off. He averaged 50.7 yards a kick. He started as an outside receiver for us when we went to a spread. He had 14 passes for 164 yards with 1 TD. He displayed some of the best hands on the team. He was awarded honorable mention wide receiver. Tyson Roth. Having Tyson on our team as our safety was like having another coach out there, whether it be during the game or during practice. I mean, this guy is really into it. As many years as we've coached, I don't know that we've had 1 or 2 players that had the tenacity and the awareness of what's going on the field. Tyson was second on the team with 51 solo tackles from his safety spot, 8 assists, 3 behind the line tackles. I don't know how that happened. Must have been on blitzes. 4 fumble recoveries and 4 pass breakups. As I mentioned, in all the years of football, I think Tyson's love for the game may have been greater than 99% of the football players that we've ever had. He was really a heads-up player. He was awarded all-conference first-team D-back. He would have been a great runner. We ran him early in the year, and he twisted his ankle, and we kind of gave up on that, but I would have liked to see him carry the ball 50, 60 times because he's a tough cookie. Takes that after his dad, I think. Cole Reynolds. Cole decided to give football a try after taking a couple years off. Cole was a little undersized, but played with a lot of heart and was fun to coach as he took it upon himself to take Mad Dog under his wing. I should have said that. Cole was on specialty teams where he recorded 3 tackles. He was one of the many outstanding wrestlers on this year's team as well. Gabe Meyer. Of course, when Dan Lurk went down, it kind of opened the door for Gabe as well. Gabe gave us a big lift as he filled in admirably at linebacker as well as running back. Gabe had 10 tackles, 6 pass breakups, and he was asked to play linebacker, D-back, and as a running back. He was awarded second-team running back on 884 yards, 147 carries, and 10 TDs. He also had 13 catches for 165 yards and 1 TD, and he was not able to play the last game of the year due to an injury. It would have been really neat and a great thing if we would have had 2 rushers go over 1,000 yards. I don't know that we've had that done since 1950. Have we, Coach Stolzer? All right, moving on. Coach Nick's like that one. Dan Lurk. Why don't you hop up here, Dan? Where you at? Losing another preseason all-conference performer on both sides of the ball was difficult. Dan tore his ACL before the first game, was all the practices and games, and encouraged the team throughout the season. We really felt that Dan would have been one of the top running backs in the area, and had already positioned himself last year as a top linebacker on defense. Ryan Carl. Ryan ran 8 times for 29 yards with 2 TDs as a fullback, a great, outstanding blocker. On defense is where Ryan was most valuable, as he was in on 46 tackles, 12 assists, and 7 behind-the-line tackles. Ryan was awarded first-team all-conference linebacker. Clayton Gilo. Clayton was our leading receiver at tight end. He hauled in 15 passes for 358 yards for a 23.9 average. That's outstanding. And of his 15 catches, 5 were for TDs. I guess we should throw them to him more. Defensively, Clayton was in on 21 tackles, 3 assists, 2 behind-the-line tackles, and 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, and 4 pass breakups. Clayton was chosen unanimous first-team all-conference tight end. Jacob Rowe. Jacob was a first-team all-conference wide receiver, as he led the team with 34 catches for 469 yards, 7 TDs passes. Jacob was the starting D-back, and he was in on 24 tackles, 2 assists, along with 6 pass breakups. I think that's 2 tackles more than his brother, and played about 7 games more. Jacob also averaged 24 yards and 2 punt returns as well. Anthony Brown. Anthony didn't come out for football until I believe it was maybe his junior year. He really came a long way as a linebacker from the first day we saw him in drills. He played himself on the specialty teams. He recorded 7 tackles, had 2 assists. Anthony, I believe, would punt the ball in his sleep if you let him. His passion was to punt, as he averaged 34.8 yards per punt. He punted 18 times for 627 yards. This year's squad had a good nucleus of seniors and juniors. We had some sophomores fill in at times. It was one of those years where we finally didn't have to play so many sophomores, which was kind of nice. They were fun to be around. A high percentage of these players put in necessary time to take what a winning team has to do. The injury bug did hit us hard, but for the most part, the players that went into these voids did an outstanding job. Would like to congratulate the 2012 Dragons on a great season, but more importantly, congratulations to the parents for raising such a wonderful bunch of young men. To go 10-2 with all the injuries that the 2012 Dragons had is a tribute to the quality of athletes, the perseverance, the dedication of the players, and the great leadership from our 4 captains in the senior class. Thank you.
Okay, you guys, good, sir. Where's your one? Here. Whenever I give you medals. Okay, I've got the privilege of introducing the remainder of the squad. Usually we divide these up according to who we work with more so, and of course, I being primarily the line coach or whatever, I'll introduce these gentlemen. Okay, first off, number 50, Devin Brown. Okay, Devin was our left tackle on offense and one of our defensive ends. Devin's got outstanding quickness and great work habits and very good fundamentals. Defensive play earned him a spot on the all-conference team as a second team defensive end. He's very good at containing responsibilities on defense. Very disciplined. He's the type of player that when or if he makes a mistake, he knows what he did right away, and he makes every effort not to do wrong again what he did, or he goes about correcting it. Devin had 32 primary tackles, 11 assists, and 3 behind-the-line tackles this year. Looking real forward to having Devin back next year as he's just a junior. Number 73, Luke Himmerla. Okay, he played right tackle on offense and played a little bit defensive end too, where he's got a lot of potential as well. He's a very improved player since last year, and his play in the offensive line earned him a spot in the all-conference team as one of the first-team offensive tackles. His experience this season should be important for us next season. This will probably be a 2-way starter for us. Luke's got a great attitude. He's really a hard worker. He worked real hard in the weight room in the off season. And also was one of the regulars in the AM weightlifting 3 days a week during the season. Luke's always got a smile on his face and very good about taking a lot of kidding from me. There probably wasn't a day went by where I wasn't giving him grief about something, but he just always give that cute little smile that he's got on that. Happy Hemmerly, yes, Johnny. Number 99, Josh Humboldt. Josh was our latest victim of leg injuries this year. Josh mostly played special teams, and he was a backup at linebacker, basically a defensive specialist. Josh had 10 primaries, 1 assist, and 2 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, either on special teams or playing linebacker. He's a real tough and fearless player. Like tore his ACL the first part of the game, he needs to matter, and he'll have surgery as soon as his knee heals up a little bit to repair his ACL. Number 69, Derek James. Derek logged a lot of playing time as a backup this year and started some game for us as well. He recorded 7 primary and 1 assisted tackles, and if he continues to work as hard as he does, he should be a regular for us next year. Playing time he had this year should be valuable to him next year, as hopefully he's going to be a full-time starter for us. Number 75, Zach Jamerson. Okay, Zach was one of our starting defensive tackles for us all season. Real aggressive. He recorded 34 primary tackles, 11 assists, and 7 behind the line tackles, along with 1 fumble recovery. His play on defense earned him a spot in the all-conference team as a second-team defensive lineman. If Zach gets after the weights this offseason, he's got the potential to be a very good lineman. With losing Tarana this year, we're going to need somebody to take charge there. And like I said, if Zach will get in the weight room, strength that he could gain could possibly make him to a 2-way starter for us, because we've also got some holes in the offensive line to replace. Number 62, Ryan Schwint. Okay, Ryan's a very hard-working young man. Was one of our backups at offensive guard this year. He's one of these guys who works hard in the weight room, and I'm hoping that if he continues to work like he always does, he's going to hit that spurt of strength gain and be a player for us next season. Anytime in practice game, if we call for someone or need someone to fill in and do this, that, he's always there and one of the first to step forward. Number 51, Kellen Stiegel. Kellen stepped into his starting role as a center this year and really passed with flying colors. He's very hard-working and intense young man who's always looking for ways to get better. He's one of our constant figures in the weight room. He really increased his size and strength over the off-season, and his play he made second-team all-conference center this past season. Real consistent center at snapping the ball. I don't think we had any bad snaps to Drury and shotgun all season, but I think we can thank Matt for that, because several times in practice, if there would be one little low or one little high, Matt would say, get him here or there, Kellen. So those two had a good working relationship. Anyhow, to tell you a story, like I said, Kellen's real serious all the time, and of course, me, if you're around me much at all, I like to kid a little bit. New Madrid, when we replayed them out here a couple of weeks ago, they had some little bitty defensive guards. Anyhow, they had one, what was his name? Was it 99? Was that his number? Kellen came off the field after one of our offensive series. I think we might have scored or something like that. And this kid probably came up to about here on Kellen. I said, Kellen, can you handle that 99? But yeah, I sure can, coach. And it's just like, but he's real intense, and it is intense that he's made him a heck of a center. Number 61, Aaron Stupi. Okay, Aaron's another player who's no stranger in the weight room. He's been a hard worker since he stepped into the football program. I remember a few years ago, really don't know how to describe him other than just a little pudgy kid who I wondered if he would ever be able to pull his weight at all on the football field. But he's not where he's going to get to yet, but with his work habits, he's going to be a player for us, hopefully next year. He's been one of our backup centers, and also learned guard plays late in the season, is also a backup linebacker, also one of our regulars in special teams. Like I said, Aaron's one of these players who blooms as a senior, and all his hard work comes into play. He's very unselfish and do anything to help the team. Another one of these early risers in the morning during the season who comes in. One of our coaches take turns opening the weight room up in the mornings, and usually we have quite a few kids in there, and Aaron was one of those kids who was there just about all the time. Number 63, Kevin Smith. Kevin didn't make it tonight? Okay. 76, Chase Karen. Chase is one of our backups on both sides of the ball on a regular and special team for us this year. He had a few nagging injuries that held him back at times, but he still recorded 4 primary and 1 assisted tackles. Chase was another one of our players who's always the first one to jump forward when you needed someone. Never needed any prodding. If we needed someone, especially at the line positions, Chase was always the first one off the sideline to get out there to help. Got sick late in the season and missed the last few games, but was always there regardless. Great attitude, and Chase will be a successful young man. Number 72, Kyle Nicholson. Okay, Kyle's going to be one of these players who I'll always use as an example, and also should serve as an inspiration for all our present players. Kyle started 1 game for us last year because he had the size what we needed in a certain game. It was against Park Hills last year. They were really big up front, so we tried to match your size with the biggest kids we could find on our roster, and of course Kyle happened to be one of those because he had a little bit of weight. Most of the time last year he was simply a backup. Kyle's always been a hard worker, but this past year he really got after the weights, increased his size a little bit more, but he really increased his strength, his speed, and quickness through hard work, and did it pay off for him. Kyle was even pegged by one of the conference coaches, or maybe even several of them this past year, as probably the best offensive guard in the conference. He's very smart, and if he made a mistake, he knew what he did wrong, and it didn't happen again. Kyle was first team all-conference offensive guard, and was voted by the conference coaches a couple of weeks ago as being the offensive lineman of the year in the conference. That's a heck of an honor for someone who started 1 game as a junior. With many postseason honors to be selected, yet I feel that Kyle will be named to others. He's a classic example of a player going from rags to riches, so to speak, simply by hard work and dedication. So, you know, and I've seen that a lot in my years as a coach. Like I said, Kyle wasn't a bad player last year, but he wasn't a real good one, obviously, otherwise he would have been starting. And anyhow, he worked his tail off, and obviously a classic example of hard work paying off, because, you know, being tabbed to the best guard in a conference where we've got a lot of good offensive guards, that's a heck of an honor. 65, Ethan Shrimp. Okay, Shrimpy was our backup center, but he served a very important role for our team by being our long snapper. It's a very important position in the kicking game. It's a very integral part of our place kicking, and his snaps are always there. Coach Weiler talked about how accurate Clayton was, 49 out of 52, I think his final stats were. And if Ethan doesn't put the ball right there for Jacob Rowe to catch and put down on the tee, well, then he's not going to make those. So Ethan, although he may not have known it, was very important. Same way in the punts. He got it back to our punters 15-yard deep, and we didn't have any punts blocked this year. He also backed up for defensive ends and had 4 primary and 1 assisted tackles and 1 behind the line, and also 1 knockdown pass that he probably should have intercepted. I can remember, I forget who it was, but Ethan was in there playing defense, and someone, or the team we were playing, threw the ball, and he just happened to be in the right place and looks up, and I guess a typical thing for a lineman, you see a ball coming at you, you don't try and catch it, you just knock it down. But could have had you a pick 6 there probably, Shrimpy. And number 59, Dan Tarana. Okay, I think the best thing I can say about Dan is that we're going to miss him probably the most. For the past 4 years, he's been a starting defensive tackle for us. He's done a great job for us there. He's made postseason teams since his freshman year and continues to do so. He's a hard young man not to notice, because you can see he kind of sticks out in the crowd and usually head above heels above everyone else. Dan's a 2-way starter for us this past year, and he did well on the offensive side as well. He was one of the best guards in the conference, as he made the all-conference team as the 2nd team guard. who undoubtedly had the best pair of guards in the conference and district. Of course, he made first team defensive line, was also voted as the defensive lineman of the year in the conference. So we had not only the offensive lineman of the year, but the defensive lineman of the year as well in the conference. Danny recorded 46 primary tackles, 9 assisted, and had 17 tackles behind the scrimmage for loss throughout the course of the year. He also recovered 1 fumble and blocked 1 pass. Dan's got the size to make him a decent player, but the work he puts forth made him a great player. He worked hard in the weight room. Instead of just being a big kid who plays the game, he made himself into a strong and agile kid who plays the game. Dan's hard work combined with his size has several colleges interested in him. And although he started 4 years on the defensive side of the ball, they're very interested in him as being an offensive line prospect. Number 89, Johnny Williams. Johnny is one of our defensive ends this year. He recorded 26 primary, 5 assisted tackles, 7 behind the line, had 1 fumble recovery and 1 knockdown pass. Johnny's play this season earned him an honorable mention spot on the all-conference team. One of Johnny's best assets is his hard-working attitude. Another hard worker in the weight room in the off-season whose hard work really paid off for him. Johnny is as fine as young man that you'll find, and his work habits will guarantee him as being a successful person. Number 68, Steve Wilson, the Animal. How did you ever get the name Animal? I never did ask you that.
I played football at college with a guy named Steve Wilson. I didn't nickname him.
Okay, so you inherited the nickname from another Steve Wilson. Wasn't original. I often wonder that. Steve's the finest young man as we've got on the team, and to be called Animal, I never could figure it out, but his aggressiveness on the field, I could see it fitting. Now, Steve was back up at offensive tackle for us this year and played some there, but his real value was on the defensive side of the ball at linebacker. He recorded a team-high 56 primary tackles, along with 16 assists and 7 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Very tough player and got better each game. Steve will always be one of these kids I'll use as an example as well. Steve decided last year, at the start of his junior year, he just didn't have it in him and made the decision not to play. And anyhow, sometime during the course of the year, probably talking to some of his knucklehead buddies or whatever, he decided to come back and play. Anyhow, he made that great decision for his senior year. Even though Steve got better each game, had he had the experience of playing last year, it would have really helped him out this year. He played an outstanding game against Park Hills in our final game. He's a very extreme, hard-working young man. I was really glad to see him come back out this year. Steve was named to the all-conference team as an honorable mention linebacker. And our final 2 on the roster is Hunter Crace and Casey Shelton, our managers. These 2 young ladies are seniors. They've been around for a few years, and I really hate to lose them too. The returners from last year's team and had to hang what needed to be done. Things they did, I never did take for granted, girls. They'd be doing this or that every week. They knew what routine they had to take care of, and they went about their business. But like I said, girls, I did not take that for granted. All equipment was always out there in the field and taken back in daily, and whatever jobs they were assigned always got taken care of. One of the unsung important positions of a team is the managers, and these gals did their parts this year. Had they gotten in the weight room, it makes me wonder how good they could have been. They possibly could have carried more stuff at one time to the field or gotten things there quicker, or it's hard to say. Anyway, I don't think we forgot anybody, did we, guys? Okay, I got a few thank yous before I sit down. I want to thank the parents. You guys really sent us a great bunch of kids this year. Coach Nix can vouch for this. We were written up several times this year by the officials who officiated our games. Not bad write-ups, but complimentary write-ups by the officials to the state association, where we receive copies and notifications of. I think that when officials take the time to file a report to the state complimenting their experience as official, here at our place. It's a great compliment to our school and program. And then we mentioned behavior of the kids and complimentary many. I think it pretty well speaks for itself. We talk about behavior to the kids, but we don't spend time practicing it. You guys as parents are doing a fine job teaching your kids respect along with the other values and make them fine young men and women for a couple of them. Anyhow, it really makes for an enjoyable experience to work with your kids, so parents, thank you. Coach Nix, I want to thank you too. He and I work hand in hand with a lot of things, organizational things throughout the whole course of the season. He's very, I don't know, how would you call yourself? Easy to work with? Productive? Yes. Special, yes. He's a very good athletic director. I taught him all he knows. I want to thank our administration, the support they give us. Just like Mr. Mercer's here tonight, he could have been home sitting, legs skipped up watching TV, and either he or Mr. Haney, one of the two, or usually both of them, are at our events all the time. I'd like to thank the student body and fans. The kids in school, I think our players and the student body have really gotten to have a great rapport with one another. I think it's very impressive to other schools at the end of home games when the players and fans line up and sing the school song together, win or lose, and cheer one another. And you simply just don't see that. Not only everywhere, but I don't recall any place that I've ever seen that. So it's really great, and I think it really raises a lot of eyebrows. Of course, I'd like to thank the Booster Club for the banquet. I'd like to thank the media, the Herald, Michael Boyd, who's back there in the back, KBDZ, KSGM, Sun-Times News, Prepcast, St. Genevieve, Frank Kirschmer, and all the other places, KTJJ, and we have during the course of the year a lot of visiting teams will come in and bring their radio stations along. I'd like to thank the media for all the recognition our team and our players get through the course of the year. I'd like to thank the coaches for the outstanding job that you guys do, and also like to thank the families of the coaches because these guys put in a lot of time. And I'd like to thank the players for the super effort that you guys give day in and day out all year long, guys. And that is all year long, like I said, off-season programs and everything. It goes by in a hurry. The season this past year, great season, but, I think if you ask the kids, they're going to say they're kind of disappointed not to still be playing. However, like I told the kids at the end of the game the other night against Park Hills, the playoffs start with 64 teams, and after the dust settles, the day after Thanksgiving, there's going to be one team smiling, and so it's kind of time to stop and turn around and look what got you there. And 10-2 this past season, great season, guys. Conference champs. Second place district and finish, and many great memories and some very exciting football games that we came out on top. Like Coach Waller alluded to, the injuries plagued us, hurt strength of the team, and of course we'll always wonder what we could have done with these guys who got hurt because we had some very good football players go down to injuries. But what got me the most about was the fact that it prevented these kids from being able to play and something they worked hard for. So anyways, before I do sit down, a couple of, well, you guys can go ahead and sit down. We're going to give out our team awards now. I want to remind all you, players tomorrow after school or whenever time I get here tomorrow morning or afternoon, whatever time it is, I'll make it up here. Tomorrow we'll turn on equipment, guys, so make sure you've got everything cleaned and ready to turn in, and it'll go real smoothly. Otherwise, I'll be out in the halls and classrooms after you. Also, patch orders for conference champions and whatever team accolades we garnered along with you guys who made the all-conference, all-region, all-state teams and stuff. I will get the order sheet to you guys sometime in school after all the postseason teams have been selected, rather than give you a sheet now than have to run you down later. So we'll get that and get those things ordered for you guys so you'll have them as soon as possible. Okay? Thank you. Go. We got to give out the awards now. Okay, these are the awards, like all conference positions and stuff like that are voted on by coaches. Mr. Boyd just stopped by a while ago. He was at the all-region meeting by the media. The coaches meet next Monday to select Southeast Missouri football coaches, all-region team. I got to go out to Lake of the Ozarks at the end of the month, being selecting the Football Coaches Association all-state team. So a lot of that stuff. But these here, I think, these awards are about to present, I think, are really hold a lot of value to the kids because they're voted on by the players. And anytime your peers select you as something, it has to have a special meaning to it. So we've got, I guess, 11 or 12. I guess we've got a dozen of these things to give out. First ones we give out are for outstanding players. Voted as being outstanding offensive lineman for this year, Kyle Nicholson. The outstanding defensive lineman as voted by his peers. I think we're going to take some guesses on this. Who? You guys are smart. Ring roll, you met Danny Tarana. Outstanding offensive back, Brendan Dallas. Outstanding receiver, Jacob Romeo Rowe. Outstanding defensive back, Tyson Roth. Outstanding inside linebacker, Steve the Animal Wilson. Outstanding outside linebacker, Clayton Gilo. Outstanding special teams player, Clayton the Toe Nager. What? Legger. That'll come up something good with him. Most improved player for the 2012 season, Kyle Nicholson. And for the Hustle Award, Tyson Roth. And the next two awards are presented plaques, recipients of the Most Valuable Lineman and Back. The Most Valuable Lineman, Danny Tarana. And Most Valuable Back, Brendan Dallas. Okay, guys, congratulations. Thank you.
All right, thank you, coaches. I'd also like to echo the comments that the coaches made about the outstanding parents and fans that we have. You know, it's easy to be supportive and to have good sportsmanship when things are going really well. But when things go bad and you shine and you continue to show good sportsmanship and support, that's when it really matters. And I can think of one particular game this year where things got a little bit, we'll just say, hectic as the game went on. And it could have been a really bad situation. It could have been, and it was a bad situation, but it could have been even worse. And what impressed me about our fans the most was that you used that and turned it into a positive and turned it into a chance to cheer louder for our kids. And I think that that was a good representation to the people in St. Louis of what we are about in St. Genevieve. And I want to thank you for that and for your support at every game this year and in the future and the past as well. Our next is going to be the Emeralds, and Coach Schwinn's going to come on up and call her girls up here. Now, hang on, Coach Schwinn, hang on. These are the girls who don't get to have their names called on the intercom a lot for having having won the game or having so many tackles or scored points and so forth, and they don't have a win-loss record, and really they don't get a whole lot of recognition like a lot of other sports do, but that doesn't stop them from working hard and practicing to be the best. And they go out at halftime and they show all their hard work and dedication. And you know, they do a very good job, and it's impressive each week to watch how they. You going to answer that? It's impressive to watch how accurate they are on such short, I guess, practice notice. It's just amazing that they have so many dances, and you watch them and they just don't make mistakes. At least, you know, to the layperson, it doesn't look like they're making mistakes. So they work very hard to be very good, and they are very good, and they're led by Coach Alyssa Schwinn. So come on up, Coach.
Well, I don't know if I'm even tall enough to stand here. So I'm going to call the girls up. Mr. Mercer is going to be my assistant this evening since I don't have an assistant. So just come up and you can get your letter. Kaylee Arnold. Jordan Bader. Emily Boner. Michaela Campbell. Emma Delat. Megan Giesler. Taylor Hudson. Kayla Keene. Caitlin Palmer. Mackenzie Roth. Haley Sitter. And Alyssa Vins. So these are our fall football emeralds, and I want to give them a big thanks. Starting off, this is my first year as a dance coach, and without the great girls we have in front of us, it would have been really rough. They were able to point me in the right direction. Their memory is fantastic. They were like, oh, this is what we did last year, and this needs to get done now, and they had great organization. So I definitely had a great team to help me through this year, and I want to thank you girls for making it a good year and working together and helping us get through those rough patches. One thing we learned as the season went on was teamwork is a valuable thing, and our dances are strong, and our girls are strong because we learned that we are only as wonderful as our weakest dancer, and if someone had a rough spot, we learned we had to help each other through it, and all of these girls are great dancers because one of their background that they came with to the squad, or they had someone helping them to get better as the season went through, and I'm glad to see that you girls were helping each other out. I want to give a quote that says, anyone who says that happiness comes from sunshine has never danced in the rain. Well, we danced in the rain, didn't we, girls? I think we danced in the rain more than we did in the sunshine or dry weather, and those girls, nothing stopped them. They got out there and they danced on the field. If it was a dance that made them get down on the ground, they got down on the ground. There was really no complaining. They knew they just had to do it, and we layered up and we went out and danced. Again, with the short notice, is the band gonna play? Is the band not gonna play? We worked with it and we made through it, and I thank you for all your hard work and dedication. I think that's, Little Gems. I hope that you enjoyed those wonderful elementary students that just want to show off their talent, and they are so excited about dance, and I know the girls enjoyed it, seeing those little kindergartners out there, and they thought they were bigger than life, and so I'm glad, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to doing that in the coming season. So thank you parents for working with us, getting us to practice when need be, and working through those rough times, and we had a great season, so thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give the awards. We have 6 of them. I'm going to start with outstanding and then work our way through it. So if you could please hold your applause to the end, I'd appreciate it. Outstanding senior is Kaylee Arnold. I clapped. I'm so excited. Outstanding junior, Emily Bonert. Outstanding sophomore, Caitlin Palmer. Most improved dancer, Alyssa Vins. Most valuable dancer, Taylor Hudson. And Miss Congeniality, Jordan Bader. Okay, now you can clap. All right, girls, thanks. And thank you, everyone.
Steve, officer. Okay, before we wrap things up, I'd completely forgotten about all the rain. You just completely dragged me down there. What is it? Nothing. First she says don't clap, then she claps. Okay, no, great job, Coach, and great job, girls. Coaches did most of the thank yous, so I only have a few. I wanted to thank all the people who worked for me. It's never hard to find gate workers, parking people, because people, even though they're not paid a lot, they jump at the chance to volunteer because they just like to be involved. I'd like to thank the administration, Mr. Mercer, Mr. Haney, and really all the administrators for attending the football games. If you haven't noticed the games you went to, every single administrator was at almost every single game. And they come to those games and they watch and they help supervise, and that's not always an easy job. Brian Kreider, he's our evening head custodian, and he's the one that after thousands of people make a mess at our football games, him and his crew are the one that cleans up afterward, and he's just a hard worker and a great leader of those guys. Fantastic man. Local media, I'd just like to thank you guys. There's a long list, and I think Coach Stolzer covered most of them. I'd like to thank you guys for your coverage of our kids. And I'd like to thank my wife. A lot of times, I'm like the coaches. We're not home very often, and a lot of times I think that she just doesn't understand, but I think the truth is that I'm the one who just doesn't understand. So I'd like to thank her for supporting me and putting up with my crap. So and that's my thank yous, and just a couple more things, and then I'll let you guys go. Just for the record, percentage of people here, are the ratio, out of 104 athletes and managers, 94 were here this evening. So that's pretty good showing, and once again proving what I had said at the beginning of the banquet. Award winners, make sure that you guys stick around, have your pictures taken over here by the a la carte. Mr. Boyd, okay, over here. If you won an award tonight, make sure you stick around and get your picture taken. Last two things. 50-50 and the winner of the banner. First of all, both of these, in the years past, the 50-50 just went to the boosters to help pay for banquets and stuff like that. But I believe it was last year, at the beginning of last year, maybe the end of the year before, the boosters had a good idea to start a scholarship for a senior athlete who was going to go to college and not necessarily play sports when they got to college, but just help them pay for college once they got there. And it was a fantastic idea, and they decided that at each of our 4 banquets, they would use the 50-50 money to help contribute to that scholarship. Well, now we get these banners of our sports teams, and we decided to raffle those off and use that money and include that into the scholarship as well. So that's where the proceeds are going for the 50-50 and for the banner. And the 50-50 winner this evening, bring your ticket up here with you. I think it was $75, 78, something like that. Ticket number 491012. 491012, and it's $75. All right, and the winner of the banner, when I call your name, you can just take the banner with you. I think it's still out in the Commons. Don't anybody else take it. The winner of the banner is Michelle Meyer. Congratulations, Michelle. All right. Thank you once again for attending tonight. Drive safely and have a great night.
Is there room for that conference trophy?
I can just
Did
take
you
those.
win that?
You won the 50-50? There you go.